What was your worst or weirdest experience at somebody else's house?
Story on at someone's birthday party at her house. She divided us into groups and made us write songs about her.
Oh wow, because nothing says happy birthday like making all your friends write songs about you. Egocentric much.
Story to a buddy and I were walking down the street and noticed a drunk guy bothering a woman outside a store and his balls were hanging out of his shorts. We stopped to help. And so does some guy in an army jacket. And after the cops come by to deal with the drink guy, army guy invites us over to have a beer. We were about 14 or so at the time. We said, sure, get to his apartment. And he gives us a beer each and shows us his big knife, tells us how to gouge out eyes and how to shoot someone under the chin, at the throat, pointing up so if by chance they survive, they will be paralyzed, then proceeds to demonstrate on me a choke move. He was taught which fucking hurt. My friend had the knife in hand just in case army guy didn't let go. After I was let go and able to breathe, we pieced out of there fast. The longer we sat there, the more scared I was getting. Haven't thought about that for some time.
Oh great, just what every 14-year-old wants, a lesson on how to gouge out eyes and paralyze people. Thank God for that helpful army guy.
Story 3. When I was in college, there was this redneck named Scott who lived W or his mother and was desperate to leave and move in W or me. When I was helping him move, put his mom, lit up a joint, which I ignored. Then she tried to grope my crotch careful. Scott shouted, "My mom is a pervert over the years. That is meme for me."
Oh wow, what a heartwarming story of mother-son bonding and a potential threesome. How very romantic.
Story 4. Went to a friend's house. We came in and somebody started yelling and swearing at him from another room for no reason and impromptu, scary, threatening and abusive sounding. It was his dad and the dad didn't realize I was there. The kid was cool about it, just kind of maybe we should just go for a walk. It was how cool the kid was. That unnerved me, just his day to day.
Oh wow, what an idyllic neighborhood with loving family dynamics. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with random outbursts of verbal abuse when I visit my friends.
Story 5. Stayed at my friend's house one time and found out her family only uses red light bulb in their house because an astrologer told them to do so.
Oh wow, because everyone knows that an astrologer's expertise extends beyond just the positioning of the stars and planets to also include interior lighting design.
Story 6. A long time ago I went to my weed dealer's apartment to get some weed. He was a tough guy, all tatted up, hung around some shady characters. I get there and he has 2 kittens he just adopted. One of the kittens takes a liking to me, so I'm in a room with these hard-ass tough guys, and while we're passing this blunt around, I'm sitting in a lazy boy chair and this cat is sitting on my chest and kneading its paws into me and purring. It was the weirdest environment for this to be happening.
Oh wow, how scary. A tough guy with tattoos and shady friends, and he owns kittens. Truly terrifying.
Story 7. Well, my late wife's clinically psychotic brother pulled a gun on me for no reason at Thanksgiving one year. Also, her parents were trash people.
Oh, how heartwarming. I guess dysfunctional family gatherings really do bring out the best in people.
Story 8. I found a hardcore porn magazine under my friend's mattress top bed on a bunk bed, so it was about at eye level, must have been sticking out a bit because something caught my attention. We were 10 years old. Maybe she just blew it off like it was nothing. A year later, my mom banned me from sleeping over at my friend's house. She was still welcome at our house. I was secretly relieved because the vibe was weird over there for a million reasons. When I was an adult, my mom finally told me that the reason for the ban was because teachers suspected sexual abuse my mom taught at our school. I'm sure it got reported to CPS, but nothing came of it. Anyway, pretty sure the magazine I found that day was their version of bedtime stories.
Well, at least your friend had some exciting reading material at a young age. Who needs Dr. Seuss when you can have hardcore porn, right?
Story 9. I remember when I was a kid, probably around 10 or so, we went to friends of our families for dinner. The husband and wife got into a very loud, screaming match over whether to serve creamed corn or frozen corn. I'm talking in each other's faces and being surely loud. 10-year-old me was fascinated by how such a mundane object could arouse such passions, and of course I wanted to see how it turned out. But we were instead quickly ordered into the car and left, still never understand how corn caused such a disagreement. I found out later. They got divorced.
Wow, who knew creamed corn was the ultimate deal breaker in a marriage? I guess it's good they figured it out before something more serious came up, like choosing between crunchy or creamy peanut butter.
Story 10. This one time I was at my ex-GF during that time and we weren't doing very well in the relationship. We were in the driveway talking and we ended up sitting in her car while we talked about how the relationship wasn't the same as before and how we weren't really feeling like it was going anywhere, the regular talk before a breakup. It was pretty tense and kinda sad. We noticed that the bathroom window was on, so we lowered our voices as we didn't want her family to hear us talking about breaking up. She was about to cry when we heard a massive compressed fart echo through the confines of the porcelain toilet. The atmosphere changed entirely. We tried not to laugh, but it was impossible not to. Her mum called her with doubt as she asked her name. We rushed the hell out of the car and proceeded to laugh our asses off that day. Whatever her mum ate before laying the log saved our relationship. We didn't break up until a few months later.
Oh, nothing like the sound of thundering flatulence to save a doomed relationship. Who needs couples therapy when you have a mom's questionable dietary habits?
Story 11. We used red lights on the bridge of a ship I worked on. They provide light, but let you keep your night vision. There is a strange thing about the red light, though. You can't see red ink in it. So one night we played a prank on one dude. My boss drew a big dick in red ink on a piece of paper with some other shit on it and proceeded to have a nice 5-minute talk with the guy who was coming on watch right over the paper, kind of gesturing at it and going over the list. Then somebody turns on the regular white lights and this enormous cock appears on the paper. Dude didn't take it that well. It was a pretty badass prank.
Oh, how hilarious, because nothing screams professionalism more than drawing phallic symbols on important work documents.
Story Wolf Careful. Scott shouted, "My mom is a pervert." I don't know why, but this read like a line from a warped children's book.
Oh, how lovely, replied Jane. I always wanted a perverted mother-in-law.